Cheers, beer runners. Today we are going to be blind taste testing 6 different light beers. I've come out with my definitive list in the past of my favorite light beers ranked, but I'm always curious to see if I were to put them to a blind taste test, would my opinions change? I think the answer is yes, but today we're gonna find out. So you might have seen in the past, I think it was last summer, I did a video ranking my 5 favorite light beers, but this is very much influenced by my experience with the beers, different emotions or memories I tie to specific beers, and I've always been curious, would I have those same opinions or those same rankings if I truly tasted the beers blindly with no prior exposure, no opinion, no labels, no nothing? How would that change my ranking? And today we're gonna find out. So what I mean by a blind taste test is I will be blindfolded so that I can't see the bottles, can't see the labels, color of the beer, etc. Just purely going off of taste and aroma of each beer, and we are going to be comparing 6 different light beers that I picked based on beers that I have very strong opinions about, as well as beers that I just have some memories with and some wild cards thrown in as well. So in no particular order, the beers that we are going to be taste testing today are going to be Coors Light, a tried and true old favorite. This was always my go-to light beer in college, and I very much said was my favorite throughout. I'm gonna be putting them favorite on the left, least favorite on the right. Miller Lite, I'm not sure where this is gonna fall in the grand scheme of things. I'll put it somewhere in the middle. I'll give it a 3 right now. Bud Light, I'm throwing at the back of the line. I specifically got Bud Light because I've always had an aversion to Bud Light. It's always been my least favorite light beer. Something about the taste, or what I convinced myself about the aftertaste of Bud Light, just couldn't really stand it. So I'm very curious to see if that will change with not knowing what the beer is. Next up, Yingling Light. I actually don't know if I've ever had this before. I'm a big fan of Yingling Lager in general. I'll probably bump Miller up. We'll put Yingling Light here. Not sure this is gonna be one of those wild cards. Another wild card, just because we needed to fill out the lineup. Heineken just grabbed it at the last minute. I'll go ahead, let's actually I'll put Heineken ahead of Yingling Light. I think this will have the most distinct flavor of all the beers as far as, I mean, it's just a different style of beer, and I think Heineken has a pretty specific taste, so we'll see how that goes. And last but not least, had to throw in Rolling Rock as well. I have a lot of memories of my parents drinking Rolling Rocks at barbecues growing up, so that was another go-to light beer when I first started drinking. Big fan of Rolling Rock. Very interested to see if that's changed. I feel like I remember having such fond memories of Rolling Rock, but then when I actually started drinking, it wasn't necessarily one of my favorite beers. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and switch. These are my prior predictions. Again, not tasting the beers, but just going off, if you ask me to rank these beers, I'm going Coors Light, Miller Lite, Yingling Light, having no real experience with the beer, Heineken, kind of a wild card, Rolling Rock, I think a lot more fondly of the beer than I actually remember it tasting, and Bud Light has always been at the bottom of my list, so we'll see how things shake out throughout the testing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my blindfold. My lovely wife is then gonna pass me beers one by one, and I'm gonna fill out the rankings as we go. All right, we are officially blindfolded, can't see a thing. I'm going to start off, cleanse the palate, take a nice refreshing sip of water. Let's get this thing going.
All right, first beer number 1. Here you go.
Nice and cold. If I had to guess, I feel like I want to say this is the Rolling Rock or the Bud Light, just based on memory. It's not like as refreshing as I remember Coors Light being. I'm gonna throw it in the middle for now, and then we'll kind of keep going as we go along.
Beer number 2. Here we go. You're doing
Forgot
great.
you were showing it to the camera. Not bad. I also just haven't had light beer in a while. I feel like I like this though. It's a little lighter, a little bit more refreshing. I think I'm gonna put this ahead of the last one that I just had.
Do you have a guess of what it might be?
It tastes like it might be the Coors, but honestly, no. It is so hard to tell.
All right.
Did I get that anywhere near the actual spots?
Alrighty. Beer number 3. Little show.
Oh, I gotta be careful I don't knock anything
Here,
over.
right here. There you go.
This is definitely different. I like this one a lot.
Bud Light has always been at the bottom of my list.
I feel like this is, I want to say right off the bat that it's Heineken just because of how starkly different it is from the taste of the other beers.
Watch your hands.
What's that?
Watch your hands.
Purely refreshing. I'm putting it, that goes to the front.
Beer number 4. Right hand, left hand.
Ooh, this one's weird. It's got like a toasty taste to it, very malty. I think I like it better than the first one, but not as much as the second.
Okay.
Getting harder and harder also because I just feel like it's so bubbly in my stomach right now.
Beer number 5. Left hand.
I'm just getting nothing from this. If I had to put a guess on this one, I would guess Miller or maybe the Yingling Light Lager, just because I feel like Miller, I don't associate any tastes with it. It's just like, it's a light beer. It's fine. Drink it. No problem.
I would disagree.
Then Yingling Light, I also just, like I said, have no experience with. This one's pretty refreshing, though. I'm going to put it ahead of the first beer.
Okay, which is now beer number 4, so going there. All right.
But I'm going to compare the ones, I'm going to go back down the line afterwards to make any last minute swaps.
The final one. Left hand up in the air.
One thing I do remember about trying to learn how to taste beer is how quickly you get like palate fatigue. So I feel like the flavors are getting more and more muted as we go along. This one has a stank to it. Ooh. This has a weird flavor. This one's different enough too that I might say Heineken, but I'm gonna go with my gut and say this is maybe Rolling Rock.
Okay.
I do not like this.
All right, so we're moving that to number 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nope. I got it. Okay.
It's very bitter. I think depending on the mood, that's the hard thing too, is depending on what mood I'm in, I could see these different beers like satisfying a different need. Like in the right setting, the bitterness of that last beer, I feel like I could really see myself liking, but that beer would need to be ice cold. Whereas a lot of these other ones, like it fits with what I imagine, like a light beer that just goes down super easy, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna go, I have my initial thoughts thrown out. I'm gonna go down the line to make any changes. I just tasted the beer that's now, this is the last place beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanna try this one. I'm gonna leave those where they're at. The hard thing now, are those in the right spot?
Yep, just watch your hand.
Yeah, the hard thing now is the bitterness of this one has definitely impacted the taste, I think, of the rest. So it's good, whatever that is, that it came last. Because I think the bitterness is gonna mute some of the flavors of the other beers. All right.
Okay, this is 4.
Second to last and third to last?
Yep. That's 4. Yep.
They're pretty similar. I almost want to... I'm going to leave them where they're at.
All right.
Almost switched them. There's just so much beer in my stomach. It's like quick little sips. I feel like I'm going to erupt in hiccups any second.
3 to last.
Oh, Jesus, that scared me.
Third.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Definitely keeping those where they're at.
Okay. Third place, second place. You're doing great. All right.
The other thing that I feel like I'm picturing right now in my mind is certain of these beers are becoming more desirable to me the more beer that I put in my stomach.
All right. This is first place. This is second place. Oh my
Ugh.
gosh.
Apologies. I'm really nervous about how quickly this beer just climbed. All right, I'm so not sold. For whatever reason, there's just something about that beer, and I think part of it's just due to the bitterness of whatever this beer is over here really impacted that run. But some flavor in this one stood out enough that I was like, ooh, I like this right now, whereas all the other ones, like I said, were just kind of muted, which is why it just had to climb. But locking it in, just gonna go with what it is.
So are we thinking this is your final
Final decision, definitive ranking of my favorite light beers in order of preference. No exposure, no outside opinions influencing me, just pure taste test, what I'm in the mood for. This is what I'm reaching for. Boom, done. Final answer. Oh God, I'm so nervous. Ooh, look at that.
Look at how that Bud Light
Oh
climbed.
my goodness. The Yingling Light. I'm very shocked at the Yingling Light, but you know what? It was delicious. Coors Light, happy to see it up close to the top. Heineken had the bitterness. That surprises me. But I guess it shouldn't have. I should have, as soon as I tasted how bitter it was, I should have realized that that was the one that stood out. Not surprised Rolling Rock stayed down towards the bottom.
So
wow.
in your original prediction, you had Coors Light in first place.
Yep.
The Miller in second.
Mm-hmm.
The Yingling in third. The Heineken in fourth. Rolling Rock was your only correct prediction at fifth. And the Bud Light climbed 4 spaces from 6 to 2.
So pretty close, somewhat, with like everything's kind of close to where I predicted it, except for the Bud Light just really jumped ahead. That's surprising. And I
I'm
even
not
put it
surprised.
above my
Coors.
solid favorite
I know.
Coors Light.
This is shocking.
But Yingling Light, never really had it before, no experience with it, but that is a damn good beer. I need to get more of these. Only 99 calories from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, America's oldest brewery. Reach for a Yingling Light the next time. You don't see these at parties enough. I didn't even know this really existed. Great beer. Good job, Yingling. Thank you very much. So, definitive rankings. Let me know your thoughts. What are your rankings? I want to hear that in the comments below. How would you have ranked these? And I definitely encourage you to do your own blind taste test, because I am certainly surprised with the results, especially with Bud Light, but you might find a new beer that you truly enjoy. This was a lot of fun. It was all worth it for sure. So thanks for tuning in. Let me know what shocked you most. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. It's something new that we're trying, and maybe we'll do more of these in the future. So thanks as always for tuning in. Cheers, and have an amazing weekend. Reach for a Yingling Light the next time. You don't see these at parties enough.